Yo guys, my name is Wingsuit and today I've got a very special video on my vision of a Call of Duty Black Ops 3 by Treyarch and Activision. So this is a mock-up, photoshopped, a complete idea that I made myself. If you follow along my ideas, I do some big crazy ideas, usually around content and map packs, DLC, and mostly for Call of Duty, more in specifically recently Call of Duty Ghosts. But this is a change. This is the first time I've ever come up with an idea for an entire game, so stick around for this video for all of the kind of intel and ideas I've got for this. There's going to be a lot of them, so brace yourself. First off, Black Ops 3 is probably not going to happen, so I just want to get that out there straight away. If you've played Call of Duty Black Ops 2, and I'm on about the campaign now, that's where the sequels and prequels come from, is based around the campaign, not the multiplayer. So if you look at the campaign of Black Ops 2, it has multiple endings. You may or may not know that, but there are about 4 different endings you can have. I might not be right on that, but I think it's 4, but there are several different endings. I've seen a few of them. It can end different ways. I'm not going to spoil it for those people who still haven't played the Black Ops 2 campaign, but the endings, all of the different ones, are very different, so it couldn't really make sense to make a sequel to Black Ops 2 because the storyline would be all messed up, because the endings are so varied in Black Ops 2. The start of Black Ops 2 just wouldn't make sense to most people unless it had a fixed start, and it would have to presume one of the endings of Black Ops 2 is the actual ending. So it could get a bit complicated, and for that reason I don't think Treyarch will go with a new Black Ops game next year. As we know, Treyarch are making the next Call of Duty game because of the new 3-year development cycle. Now, if you look at the other 2 companies involved in Call of Duty under Activision's wing, Infinity Ward, who have Neversoft and Raven Software on their side, they finished the Modern Warfare series with Modern Warfare 3. They really couldn't take that any further, and that was because of the campaign. If you remember, at the end, almost everyone was dead. I'm not going to spoil it again, just for people who haven't played the Modern Warfare 3 campaign, but there is a definitive ending there to the trilogy, and I would say that is it. There was not going to be a Modern Warfare 4. And there wasn't. They started a completely new sub-franchise, which we know as Call of Duty Ghosts, the most recent Call of Duty out. And they're starting this as a franchise, so there will be a Ghost 2, and that is quite definitive by the ending of Call of Duty Ghost campaign. Again, not spoiling it, but there is a very cliffhanger-style ending that was very reminiscent of Call of Duty prequels, so we're very likely to see a sequel. And now Sledgehammer Games, who worked on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3's campaign, have made a completely new sub-franchise again, and this is called Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. We know this as the Call of Duty coming out at the end of this year. So both the only Call of Duty making game companies have released new franchises, new sub-franchises, so it would make sense for Treyarch to make a new sub-franchise, so it won't be Black Ops 3. But in my idea for Black Ops 3, I see a lot of things. First of all, the involvement of the Exoskeleton, which had been involved in Advanced Warfare. That would make a really awesome addition to the Black Ops style gameplay. Large maps would be well suited for multiplayer because we haven't seen large maps since Black Ops 2. In fact, Call of Duty Ghosts killed off any idea of big maps anymore, especially because of Modern Warfare 3, which really started the close quarters style gameplay. A lot of new weapons, because Black Ops 2 is one of these games that really had the opportunity to add completely new weapons into the franchise. With Ghosts, we've only really seen 2 fictional weapons, which is the Maverick, as well as the Maverick A2 sniper rifle, and the Ripper, and we don't know if we'll see one in DLC 4, as there wasn't one in DLC 3 Invasion. But yeah, those are the actual only fictional weapons in Call of Duty Ghosts. But in Black Ops 2, they actually created a load of them. I can name a few of them off the top of my head. Type 25, Chicom CQB, Peacekeeper, to name a few. There's a lot of them. In fact, a majority of the weapons in Call of Duty Black Ops 2 are fictional and not real. So that's something I really enjoy in the Call of Duty franchise, and I hope to see more of that. As well as the equipment. I mean, I really do like the equipment in Call of Duty Black Ops 2. There was things like the I'm trying to think of the name of it now. It's Shock Charge, which was a taser-based stun weapon. I'd like to see there was a real type of claymore called the Taser Shockwave that effectively does the same kind of thing, and that could be involved in Black Ops 3. Something I'd really like to see is a bigger involvement in drones, especially in the multiplayer, because the whole campaign was centered around a drone invasion. So I'd actually like to see a game mode called Drones, and my idea for this game mode would basically be there would be 2 control points, and these control points have to be manned by 1 person. These control points are neutral when the game starts, and you have to capture them. The attacking team has to capture these defend points. If the enemy team capture them, then it takes longer for you to capture them, obviously, because you've got to neutralize it and then capture it. But once the points are captured, you can take control of them and access a drone, and you have to use these drones to destroy 2 enemy objectives, A and B. Once both the objectives are destroyed, the attacking team wins. The defending team wins when either the countdown timer runs out, or if they eliminate the attacker team because they only have 1 life, whereas the defending team have infinite respawns. So that would be my idea of a game mode that I would call Drones. I'd also like to see War brought back from Call of Duty World at War, another Treyarch game, in fact their first proper game, I'd say. I know they did make Call of Duty 3, but I think World at War was their first proper debut in the Call of Duty franchise, because Call of Duty 3 had very negative reviews, especially compared to Infinity Ward's CoD 2 and Call of Duty the original. So yeah, that is something I'd like to see brought back. War was one of the defining parts of World at War, it's even in the title. And the tanks was really interesting. Now I don't know what I'd think, especially with Advanced Warfare's new hover tank. I don't know whether I'd like to see anything like that in multiplayer or not. Maybe it's a score streak, especially the score streak system that has to be brought back, because I really don't like Infinity Ward's point streak system or the original kill streak system. I think what works best is a score streak system with a score meter. I think that really worked well, and that would be nice to be brought back, because you get rewarded towards your score streak for almost every XP action you commit. So it's very, very good system. I do like currency systems in Call of Duty. We had the first ever currency system, I think, was in original Call of Duty Black Ops. You had the CoD Points system, and then for Black Ops 2 they kind of reimagined that with CoD tokens, which is less of a currency system, it's more of a point system. And then Call of Duty Ghosts kind of reiterated that, just renamed it Squad Points. I think I'd like to see CoD Points return from the original Black Ops. I like that, especially with the Wager Match playlist. Those Wager Match game modes were brought back, One in the Chamber, Sharpshooter, Sticks and Stones, can't remember the name of the last one, but those were all brought back in Black Ops 2 and in Call of Duty Ghosts, but they were in a party games playlist instead. You couldn't wager money on them. I'm not really much of a gambler person, but I think in the Call of Duty world it really did make sense, and I really did like it. So I would like to see wager matches and wager playlists brought back, especially the CoD Points system, because I think that works very well as well. Obviously they can't forget the Emblem Editor. That is a Treyarch new thing, and I think that is really good. I hope they bring that back for their next game, which may or may not be Black Ops 3. Another thing they need to bring back is the customization of the clan tag colour. Now, this has sort of been introduced in Call of Duty Ghosts, but it's all to do with Clan Wars, and I really despise Clan Wars. I don't know how it works, it's confusing. The Call of Duty app is terrible, it just doesn't work. They completely obliterated Call of Duty Elite, it didn't really work anyway. So all that kind of stuff just failed in my opinion, so I really don't want that. Anything to do with the next Treyarch game. Now the biggest thing they have got to bring back is zombies. This is the most important thing in Treyarch's Call of Duty games, their Black Ops franchise, especially as well as World at War. If they don't bring back zombies, I think they have a lot of angry fans, because I think there's an entire fan base on zombies, and a lot of people just buy Call of Duty for zombies, and they're obviously very disappointed when it's that time of year in the 2-year development cycle where Infinity Ward makes a game and they know there is no zombies. They have tried to compensate with Extinction and in the past Spec Ops Survival. It just didn't work. It's not as good as zombies. It never will be. Zombies is the one and only in terms of co-op, the third pillar of Call of Duty. It just wins. So they got to bring back zombies. I've heard a lot to talk about there being no point system in the next zombies. Don't know if that's true or not. I've heard that from a few rumour sources, but these rumour sources are really crap. Like honestly, they just make up this stuff and get views off it. So I'm not going to name anyone, but I would stay away from them. So yeah, I'd like to see those kind of things, and to improve zombies, there's not really that much they can do, because in all honesty, I think their last map, Origins, was absolutely fantastic. If they do another map like that again, similar, I'd be happy, even if it wasn't improved or anything. It is a fantastic map, very good. They're always improving zombies. Buried was good, Mob of the Dead was amazing, the story was really good. So we've got to see that kind of thing in the next game. I'd love to see some more zombies action. In terms of the campaign, as I said, I really don't know what to say for the campaign, because it wouldn't make sense because the multiple endings in Black Ops 2 and the story would be all skewy in Black Ops 3. But if you had a more focus around the kind of apocalypse feel that the Call of Duty Ghosts brought, that would be cool. I like the post-apocalyptic feel in a game, but it's gotta make sense, like with the drone strikes, Menendez and what he caused. That would make a good game if we could see the aftermath of the drone strikes, even though it was kind of averted in Black Ops 2. A Black Ops 3 game based around drone strikes and aftermath would just be win, in my opinion, as long as it included exosuits, because that is going to really change the Call of Duty franchise. I think it's going down the Titanfall route with that. So yeah, those are all my ideas for Call of Duty Black Ops 3. It does sound really cool. I'd love them to make this game. It's unlikely, but that's what ideas are for anyway. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you on my full reveal of my third DLC map pack idea for Call of Duty Ghosts, Catabasis. I'll see you then. Ghost X out.